Hello fellas, today we have some stories about mysterious things and subjects which are simply mind-boggling. They affect the lives of people in a strange and often not very pleasant way. Who knows why bad luck accompanies these things wherever they are? Maybe it's just a coincidence, or maybe a real curse or a demon. In any case, even skeptics agree with us. It's good that these cursed things happen far, far away. It's not really nice to be around them, but it's interesting to learn about them. So, here are 9 cursed objects from around the world. Let's get it on. At first sight, it may seem like an ordinary wine cabinet. It's artfully crafted, made of mahogany, and decorated with carved wooden elements in the form of grapes. It'd look great in any house. But we don't recommend decorating the room with this particular cabinet. Take a closer look. Behind the doors there's no wine, but a prayer stone inside, with 2 coins, a wine cup, a candlestick, some human hair, and supposedly an evil restless spirit known as Dybbuk in Jewish folklore. It's believed that this spirit is the soul of a deceased evil man. Why do we think that Dybbuk is inside the cabinet? Once upon a time, a woman named Havale bought this cabinet in Spain. Despite the fact that the box soon became a family relic, Havale's granddaughter left it without any regret, for she believed there was an evil spirit inside it. And the next owner of the cabinet, Kevin Manis, found out that that was true, and he gave it to his mother. The same day, the woman suffered a stroke. Furthermore, the locker was resold, and its owners had visions, nightmares. Their lamps burned out and their hair fell out. Others had health problems. In the end, the legend of the Dybbuk cabinet inspired a famous horror film. Where is the ominous piece of furniture now? Well, nobody knows. It's said that the last owner decided to hide it so that bad luck wouldn't spread further around the world. But are you sure that the evil spirit won't take revenge for it? If you ever decide to go to Australia, don't forget to visit Uluru Rock. It's a very beautiful place with an unusual oval shape, but don't try to take a piece of the rock with you, okay? For about 10,000 years, Aborigines have been performing sacred rituals around this rock, so this place is filled with energy. The base is strewn with small, beautiful pebbles of bright orange color, which literally tantalize tourists to take them. However, anyone who does decide to take a stone from this sacred place will have some big failure in the future. Local people even say that these stones are regularly sent to the nearest post office from all over the world. People who took them with them face failures and troubles, and then rush to return the souvenirs to their rightful place. Can you imagine these unlucky people who took a stone from Uluru Rock and then lost it? The crown of the British Empire is decorated with a huge number of legendary stones. However, only one of them is considered cursed, and it's known as the Black Prince's Ruby. In fact, it's not a ruby at all, it's a spinel, but whatever, the story's still amazing. For the first time, the stone was mentioned in the middle of the 14th century, when it belonged to the Moorish prince Abu Sa'id. At that time, the King of Castile, Don Pedro I, was very eager to get his treasures. During one of the meetings, Don Pedro ordered to kill the Moorish prince and all his entourage, after which he took the stone for himself. Such a treacherous act couldn't go unpunished, and soon the king received a letter from the imam of the main mosque of Granada. That's how the curse started, because the imam called the ruby a werewolf stone. To those who possessed it by right, the stone must bring power and strength. To those who took it through blood, the stone will bring only misfortunes. According to the legend, to get rid of the cursed stone, Don Pedro decided to give it to the eldest son of the King of England, Edward Woodstock, nicknamed the Black Heart, and his plan worked. Being a glorious, successful, brave warrior, Edward died from the most harmless disease, dropsy. According to the same legend, later the stone saved the life of Henry V and helped Elizabeth I to defeat the Spanish fleet. In general, the stone has a rather interesting and long story, and its curse works very selectively. What do you think? Maybe this is the reason for the long life of its current owner, Elizabeth II. The mysterious story of this painting, depicting a crying boy, began on September 4th, 1985. It was then that a British newspaper published an article about a fire that burned everything, except for the cheap reproduction of this picture. Later, it turned out that firemen often face similar cases, when a house burned to the ground but the picture remained untouched. People decided it could only be a curse, and we won't argue with this, for such a huge number of incidents simply can't be a coincidence. According to an article of September the 5th of the same year, the previous article caused a huge resonance. The editors were literally overwhelmed with letters, saying that owners of these reproductions throughout the UK suffered from fires. Despite the fact that the reasons for most fires were quite rational, firefighters still couldn't explain why the pictures remained untouched. In total, about 50,000 copies of this painting were sold, and at some point it was decided to get rid of them. The Sun newspaper that published the article conducted a massive burning of reproductions outside the city. Since then, the story has calmed down a little, but sometimes there are new people who decided to buy the crying boy painting and suffered from a fire. The story of the Porsche 550 Speeder, in which the American actor James Dean crashed, even makes skeptics believe in the impossible. From the very beginning, when James bought the car, which he later called Little Bastard, people said it emits a grim energy. And the famous English actor Alec Guinness said that if James decides to ride this car, then he'll be dead in 7 days. It's hard to believe, but the prophecy actually came true. Exactly 7 days after the conversation with Alec, James died, crashing into another car at a speed of 150 kilometers per hour. The accident happened in extremely strange circumstances, but this is not the only mystic part. The fact is that accidents later haunted all people who were somehow connected to the Little Bastard. The next car owner, a big fan of James Dean, died on the anniversary of his death, at the same spot as her idol. She decided to pay him tribute, but eventually crashed into a car at a speed, yes, you probably already guessed, of 150 kilometers per hour. It's a mystery where the car is today, but it brought bad luck to many people. It hurt car mechanics, drivers, killed a couple of men, and once the impossible happened. The garage with the car caught fire, and the only thing that remained intact was the Porsche itself. This doll was found in 1972 in Australia, under the porch of an abandoned house. A man named Kerry Walton took his discovery to a museum, where workers were able to determine its age. It was about 200 years old. However, not only the age of the doll seemed surprising, it causes people a very different emotional reaction. When passing by, people suddenly became sad, and one woman even burst into tears for no apparent reason. The owners claimed the doll moved and even reacted to the touch. In the end, it was decided to call a psychic. He said that the doll was created by a gypsy woman as a gift to her son. However, soon he drowned, and the doll was used as a receptacle for the boy's soul. Also, the psychic told that if Kerry decided to get rid of the doll, he would be in trouble. Most likely, the doll is still with him. Its name is Letter Me Out. Creepy, isn't it? When making this video, we couldn't ignore the famous tomb of Tutankhamun because it has a sinister magic on it. It was discovered by the British expedition in 1922, and during the next couple of years, the people who were part of this expedition were taken by cruel and often premature deaths. Not only the members of the expedition perished, but also their loved ones. And although scientists say that these deaths are in no way connected with the tomb, such a huge number of deaths can hardly be a coincidence. Ireland is a country that's famous for its huge number of attractions. Many of them are ancient castles. However, Blarney Castle stands out because people from all over the world come here to kiss a stone. Yes, this most unhygienic landmark brings luck, as well as the gift of eloquence to people who dare to hang upside down to kiss the Blarney Stone. But where is the curse, you ask? The stone brings happiness to people, but it can bring misfortune too. People who decided to take at least a small piece of the castle for memory eventually returned it back. Some even had to come back to Cork for this, and others sent it by mail. As it turned out, Blarney Castle doesn't like to be plundered, and so people who took at least a small piece of it had really bad luck. When a woman named Donna saw this doll in an antique store, she couldn't not think that, along with a gift for her daughter, she'd eventually get a real curse. It happened back in 1970. Back then, Donna brought the doll home and gave it to her daughter, but after a while, she began to notice mysterious and eerie things. When Donna came home, she found the doll in the most unexpected places. The toy seemed to be changing poses, and the last straw was finding blood drops on the dress. When Donna's friend Lou decided to get rid of the doll, it didn't end well. That night, when sleeping, he felt that someone was strangling him. Experts say this doll named Annabelle is a portal to hell, and it's actively used by demons. Attempts to expel the evil spirit have not been crowned with success, and today the doll is in the Warrens Occult Museum. Most likely, you've seen the movie based on the story of this doll, which is incredibly scary. Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on TechZone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link is on the screen and in the description. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.